watching Channel 5, and this is the Channel 5 News Late Report.
Good evening. Gail has the night off. New Year's Day was no holiday for firefighters in Dallas County. The Adel meat locker was destroyed in an early morning blaze. Renee Starzyk reports more than a town business went up in smoke.
It was a long day for firefighters in Dallas County. They spent hours battling a blaze at the Adel meat locker. An alarm at a nearby appliance shop sounded the first warning at 6 a.m. But by the time firefighters got here, it was almost too late.
When we first arrived on the scene, the whole downtown area was full of smoke. At that point, there wasn't any fire showing. It's a pretty secure building, and it took a while to get inside of there. It took the roof real quick, and so then it made it pretty dangerous for us to get inside, so it's like we're fighting it from the top side.
Even more dangerous, small amounts of chlorine and ammonia were stored at the shop.
It's a poisonous gas, and just one lungful of that, and, you're done. So it's a really dangerous, toxic gas.
Only one firefighter suffered a minor injury battling the blaze. The businesses and apartments nearby were saved, but the meat locker was a total loss. For the owners of the Adel meat locker, news of the fire was devastating. David and Melinda Cooper just bought this business last year. For them, it was a lifelong dream. The couple's family offered some comfort as the two watched all their time and effort go up in smoke. Still, they tried to be optimistic.
Well, we got to be. We got everything, our whole life's invested in it, so can't stop now.
The Coopers only hope 1992 will bring better days ahead. In Adel, Renee Starzyk, Channel 5 News.
In Bondurant tonight, fire officials are blaming a fireplace for a blaze earlier today. Authorities say they believe the fire started in either the chimney or the fireplace. The blaze caused extensive damage to the two-story farmhouse with smoke and water damage throughout the home. No one was injured. The emergency in Grimes tonight was a ruptured fuel line spilling hundreds of gallons onto the ground. Firefighters from Des Moines, Grimes, and hazardous materials crew and the DNR all moved in to control the damage. Scott Smith has that story.
3350, 1539.
Attendants at this FINA station near Grimes say a truck driver fueled up, and then as he was pulling away, his truck ripped the hose from the pump. In a matter of minutes, nearly 300 gallons of diesel fuel poured from the pump and flowed down the parking lot towards a nearby field.
It's collected in a puddle near the drainage ditch down behind us. There's a fair amount of fuel that's been pooled in the drainage ditch on this side of the road.
Fire crews, along with hazmat, tried to stop the fuel with padding and earthen dikes. Most of the fuel was confined to this large pool. A DOT sand truck was called in to cover the diesel that remained on the parking lot. Firefighters say at no time was there a threat of fire, but a new threat did emerge. The biggest job the firemen had was confining the diesel fuel to all one area. Now, although they did put protective padding up, as you can see the diesel fuel still seeped through into this culvert, down this ditch, across the highway, and into an adjoining field.
What got down into the field in the ditch, we've checked that pretty close. I think we've got most of that. We have an awful lot of it still here on the asphalt and that hasn't soaked into the soil yet.
Firefighters made arrangements to suck the fuel up into barrels. DNR officials say they'll continue a study of the area to determine the extent of environmental damage the diesel spill may have caused. Near Grimes, Scott Smith, Channel 5 News.
We had a little snow flying out there tonight. Pam Dale's in the Weather Center keeping an eye on things. Pam, anything we have to worry about?
Well, Dennis, your key word right there was little. Not a lot of snow fell in some places, except in the south. You had a couple of inches recorded there. I'll show you that later. But it's just going to be a light snowfall for tonight in central Iowa. No accumulations expected. To the south, Channel 5 radar is showing some rain south of Lamoni and Atumwa. That's all moving to the northeast at 25 miles per hour. Right now in central Iowa, just reporting a cloudy sky, 31 degrees in Des Moines, 31 also in Ames. The wind chill at 23. The winds aren't too brisk. Overnight, occasional mixed precipitation is still possible. Slippery spots, though, as the low falls to 30, and then slick spots for the morning rush hour, 31 degrees, and by lunchtime, cloudy and 33. There is a bright spot in the forecast, and I'll have details on that coming up just a little bit later.
All right, thanks, Pam. Iowa Senate records show that Senate President Joe Welch did use his influence to advance legislation that would have helped the company accused in looting millions in government funds. Welch was working for California company ITM, which held Iowa's trust fund investments. Welch has denied ever getting involved in a conflict of interest. He could not be reached for comment today, but will answer questions for the Ethics Committee next Monday. Well, peace may be on the way for a civil war that's killed thousands since June. At the top of world headlines, rebels and Yugoslavian troops have accepted a plan to bring a United Nations peacekeeping force in. UN officials say it's hoped rebel leaders from Croatia and Army brass will begin working on the ceasefire tomorrow. President Bush continues to campaign for more open markets for U.S. goods. In Australia, where he helped dedicate a museum, however, he is under pressure to end U.S. farm subsidies. Australians complain the U.S. is causing the most harm to grain farmers down under. And this New Year's Day was a feast of color, sound, and fragrance for former hostage Joseph Sicipio. He had spent years in captivity in Lebanon without ever seeing a tree, and today was surrounded by millions of flowers as a guest at the Rose Bowl parade.